All right, so we've talked about defense. Now it's time to talk about the second group, the second positional group, and that's going to be the midfield. Right, so the midfielders, I think, have probably the toughest job physically of any position because there's just so much more ground to cover. Right, when you look at the field, um, in theory, defenders have the defensive third, the attackers have the attacking third, and the midfielders have the middle third. But your attackers you want to join, or sorry, your midfielders you want to join in on the attack. Your midfielders you'd like to come back and help out on defense. So physically, they probably have the toughest job. So how do we counteract that? Well, you could have just incredible athletes, cross country runners, whatever, and those are super useful to have. But sometimes you don't have those. So how do you mitigate that? Right? How do you take advantage of um, some intelligent play in order to minimize the amount of hard work you're doing in order to conserve a little bit more energy. So that's what we're going to look at today. So we're going to start as if the attacking team is playing out of a goal kick. The team that we're going to be looking at today is in red. All right. So you see I have it set up where the spacing is like they were in the defense video. I changed it up so the green team has bright green and the red team has the red spacing. So hopefully that helps a little bit, keep it a little less busy. So let's watch it through just at full speed first time round. And as we're going through, ball gets cleared out, winger takes it, ball's on the attack. All right, so let's go frame by frame. So what you want to focus on is the middle three, right? So you see the back four of red team and you see the front three of red team. You want to look at your middle three, right? So starting out, you want to look at their position. So your defensive midfielder, the guy standing right in the middle of the center circle, is in his spot, right? The defense probably could be a little bit farther forward, but I don't want to keep it too busy, so this is what we're looking at here. So is he giving the green midfielder in front of him a little too much space? Maybe, but look at the passing angle, right? The forward, the striker, is blocking the goalkeeper from getting to that pass. So it's a little bit more difficult. Can you chip it over him? Sure. But in the time it takes to chip it over, someone can come over and help. So let's go ahead and move it. Goalkeeper plays it short. Now, watch what happened as the goalkeeper played it short. You can go back a couple frames. Goes forward. Now watch. That defender played it up to the center midfielder. Look what happened to the red team midfielders. They squeezed. Right? So I'm going to slow it down and back it up one frame. The midfielders and the attackers to some extent, but the midfielders especially, squeezed in here, right? So the midfielder on the left center midfielder, pushed up to really get pretty close to that green midfielder. Not right on his back, right? You don't want to be right on top of him because then he can try and spin you, and that's not what we want here. Give him a little bit of space, right? So he has to turn into you, right? Now if we freeze it here, there's just a little bit of space between those two players. Your attackers have cut off your extra passes, right? So your left winger has cut out the pass to the wide player, right? Your left back is right on top of that winger, so playing that pass to the right winger for green is a little bit more difficult. And your striker is cutting out the pass back to the defender, right? So he really only has one option, that's to go to the center midfielder for green, right? So if we go forward, he goes there. Now watch what happens, right? That midfielder, that defensive midfielder, is not right on top of him, right? Because what happens if he goes right on top of him? If he jumps on top of him, there's a big hole left behind him, right? So we need to be intelligent. Don't run in, right? Watch what happens. You've given him space. He has a little bit of space to work with. If he tries to run between the two center midfielders, one of them should be able to get a tackle in, right? So he goes for the pass, and our defenders have now squeezed on the striker. So when that ball comes in, a defender can step up, take it, and play it out wide, right? So if we go back, that defensive midfielder played his job perfectly, right? Not super aggressive, right? We don't want to jump in on the tackle. Just play it slow, right? Then if you notice, if you look at the right center midfielder, watch what he does. He comes in, and as that ball's going through, he gets a little bit wider, right? He's the only person that moved in that frame. He just got that little bit wider, and here's why. As he went wide, just a little bit, right? 2, 3, maybe 4 steps, he made it really difficult for that player, the left center midfield for green, to do anything. Because if that ball tries to come across, he's already squared up on him. He is right there for him. All right? So we're going to pause it there. We're going to go back to another animation. We're going to take another look at a different scenario, a open play scenario. All right, so I've decided to go to stilled for this one, not the field view animation, because I think it will outline a little bit clearer the angles that you want to set up for to play defensively. Okay, so from a defensive point of view, the idea is we want to cut off passing lanes, right? We've talked about this in practice. We've talked about this during and after games. If you are making a tackle, it should be a last-ditch effort, or it should be something sure, right? We're not wanting to find mistakes. We are trying to cut passing lanes. We want to intercept passes. So let's look at the screen here, right? So if you look at number 6 on green, right, he has the ball. You have number 9 on red right here, number 5 here, number 89 here. These are your 3 midfielders. So these are the 3 that we're kind of focusing on for this, right? You'll see a little bit of the defensive play, not so much on the attacking side for right now. This is more for the defensive side. So look what we have here, right? And keep in mind, the green and red spaces are kind of the areas that those players are expected to cover, okay? So we're going this way. The ball is going toward the goal that number 34 is in. So let's look at the options, right? Number 6 has a couple of options. If he is dribbling the ball, if he is driving the ball up the field, he can pass to number 10. He can pass the ball into space for number 8, if number 8 is coming this way. He can try and pop this ball out here to number 11. And he can try and slide it into number 9, but that's probably a little bit more difficult, right? Number 9's run is probably going to go here. And you can think about doing that pass, but a center back should be tracking that. So he has some options available, right? Here's why open play interpretation is so important, right? You can see number 89, he's behind the play. He's behind number 6 with the ball. He's behind number 10, so he is trying to catch up to the play. He is behind it. This is where number 5 and number 9 need to be so intelligent, because you're at a man disadvantage, right? It is 1, 2, 3 v 1, 2 at this point. So 3v2, because number 89 is out of the play. Okay? So, number 5, you don't want to step to him right away, right? The same thing with number 9. You don't want to jump on him, because he'll play a quick pass, and like I said, number 89 is behind the play. So, say number 5 tries to jump on him, bang, there's a big hole right here. Look how much space number 12, and especially number 11 has to cover, right? Look how big his square is now. Number 10 can just dribble in, take a shot, dribble in, and number 9 will make a run, right? So you don't want to jump in. We want to have gradual pressure, right? Like a squeeze, okay? This is a little bit morbid, but one of the best descriptions I've ever heard of this is an anaconda or a boa constrictor, right? Their method of killing prey is to wrap themselves around and squeeze until their unfortunate next meal is no longer alive. So, same idea. You want to squeeze. So, number 9, you want to watch number 7 on your back. So, check your shoulder, and then slowly pressure up, right? So, if number 6 is driving with the ball, you want to just slowly pressure up. If you're pressuring and you're taking a good angle, now he can't pass to number 7, right? Because number 9 is right in the way. If number 7 drops off, he passes back, but in the time that he's passed back, number 89 can get back into position, right? So you're stalling, essentially. Another thing you can do, if you're number 9 in this situation, you can start dropping off, and you can ask number 5 to squeeze up a little bit, right? A little bit tougher for number 5 to squeeze, But number 5 wants to cut that pass off to 10 and then start to squeeze. All right, again, can't really pass to 10, and 89 is still running back, right? If number 5 is squeezing, number 9 needs to drop off. And again, yes, there's a pass to number 7 now, but it's not a pass forward, it's a pass sideways, and that is okay. All right, because again, you're giving time for 89 to get back, you're giving time for your forwards to get back and help, right? Say number 27 is running really hard and he comes up behind number 6 to try and take the ball away, right? So you're still stalling, right? But this is why communication is so important. You are asking number 5 to go in and squeeze, but number 9 needs to be aware, oh, my number 5 is squeezing, so I need to drop off and give myself a little more time, right? At the same time, your center backs can see the whole picture, right? So number 12 is watching number 9. You have number 11 looking out, making sure that there's nothing coming through. So if number 8 tries to come through, number 11's there, right? Number 7 can track that runner. Say number 8 comes inside, number 11 picks him up, and number 7 goes outside. Now you can both squeeze because it is now 7-on-7 in the corner, right? So you have possibilities, right? So this is why aggression is good, and aggression in winning the ball is good, but it has to be controlled aggression. So from a defensive point of view, you have to intelligently watch where you're going, watch the runs of the opposition, watch the runs, or maybe not the runs necessarily, but the movement of your teammates, communicate with each other really well, and slowing an opposition's attack or even taking the ball away is something very doable. And if you'll notice throughout that entire section, it was maybe 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps that someone had to take, other than number 89 who was running to get back. But 5 and 9, specifically, didn't have to go very far to cause the squeeze, right? You're still moving. It's still a physical sport. But you're not being asked to run 40 yards one way and 40 yards another way in order to cover, all right? You are intelligently using communication and spatial awareness in order to minimize the running you're doing while maximizing your effectiveness in the midfield.